All right, today's discussion is about automating your inventory processes in your organization. So you would notice that in every business, whether it's production or you're into the distribution of product or retailing of product, you would agree that effective inventory management is not as easy as it seems. If you're shopping for an inventory management solution for your enterprise, you must ensure that it is robust enough to meet your business requirements. If you already have one, check if it can answer all of the questions that we are going to be talking about today. Okay, so here are a couple of questions that you should ensure that your inventory management system is able to answer. So that once your system is able to answer some of these questions, then you can be rest assured that you will be on top as far as your inventory is concerned. I usually tell people that the inventory is the money. So for every organization that deals in product, whether you're producing it or you're reselling it to other people, or whether be it wholesalers and retailers or direct end users, the stock is the money. So if you're not on top of your inventory, then a lot of things will go wrong. I can assure you that. Okay, so the first question on our list is, how much do I have tied down in stock? Can you answer this question as in without depending on your inventory manager or accountants or whoever? What are your top 10 selling products this week? Which product in your inventory will expire 30 days from today? What is the value of damaged products that was moved to bin this week? What are your fastest stroke slowest moving items? What is the value of items returned by your customers this week? That's if your policy allows customers to return items. What are your top 10 most used raw materials this month? Assuming that you produce what you sell, or in your organization you use raw materials to either produce, make products or to render services. What's the total amount of money you're owing your suppliers? What is the value of VAT that you're supposed to pay this month? What is the value of stock adjustment done today, including the details of who did it? How many products or materials were transferred from one outlet to another outlet today, assuming that you have more than one outlet or one stock holding area? Who are your top 10 suppliers this quarter? How many new customers patronized you this week? What are your top 10 selling services this month? How many suppliers or vendors do you have in your company? What is the total value of raw materials in stock as at today? What's the value of raw materials that was used this week? What are the products that you need to reorder because the quantity in stock is low? Then in terms of barcode generation and price tagging, is your system able to do that with ease? You see, as an existing business owner or a startup, when these questions come up concerning your product inventory, where would you like to check, or where do you normally check? Do you check an exercise book, hardcover exercise book somewhere? Or do you check your inventory management software via your mobile phone? Or do you still calculate from your head? The business inventory information for any forward-thinking enterprise should be available in real time for the business owner or manager. This will guide them in making the right business decision promptly. And there are a couple of organizations where you notice that they make a lot of mistakes as far as their inventory is concerned. And some of the mistakes are, as it will be discussed in this session. For example, if you run a business and you're not doing your periodic stock reconciliation, whether be it daily, weekly, monthly, depending on the nature of your business and your mode of operation, then you might need to have a rethink. If you're not entering the right cost and selling price for each product, a lot of things might go wrong. You could just easily be involved in an activity, not really doing business. Because if your selling price is lower than your cost price, then you can rest, as in you can just know that okay, you just be selling at a loss. Most organizations don't classify their product. So for example, you're into the food industry, maybe you sell healthy food and snacks. Are you able to classify your items? Okay, meals, snacks, drinks, or maybe you sell, you're into the fashion line. Do you categorize your products, say, by shirts, cap, trousers, bags, shoes, and all of that? It goes on and on. For every business type, you should be able to categorize your products or your raw materials. Not keeping proper record of raw materials used on a daily basis. So let's assume you produce what you sell. Do you keep proper record of what was used? Starting from what was, as in what came in, the person who supplied it, when it was supplied, the amount that was supplied. Not moving the damaged items from your product inventory to bin. These are some of the mistakes that a couple of business owners make as far as their inventory is concerned. Because I have been able to, or I've been privileged to work with a couple of organizations, as in helping them automate their processes in the area of inventory, point of sales, accounting, and all of that. I've seen a couple of things. For instance, I've seen a situation where stocks were being taken out on a daily basis by the staff, and the business owner did not know. I've also seen a situation whereby, because the inventory was not done properly, a staff would bring in her own product into your business and sell it to your own customers and separate the money, and you would not know, especially for people who are not always available in their organization. Maybe they monitor it remotely, or they have a 9 to 5. I've also seen situations where huge value of inventory expired, and the business owner did not even know, because the inventory was not in order. So instead of knowing the value of what is available in stock, you just look at your shop and say, okay, I think the value of items in this shop is around, if you do that, then there might be a good amount of items in that inventory that have expired and you're not aware. I've also come across cases where raw materials were stolen on a daily basis. And for organizations that produce what they sell, you need to really keep an eye on your raw materials, because that is where you might be losing a lot of money without realizing. I've also seen where the person who is in charge of raw materials or in charge of inventory declares, good raw materials as bad, moves them to bin, just so that he can take them home for his own personal consumption, or even maybe sell it to someone. So you need to automate your processes so that you can reduce these activities, these fraudulent activities, to a large extent. So we are going to quickly look at how to use a particular inventory system, which is ERPRev software, to manage your inventory. It does a lot more than inventory management, but we are just going to focus on the inventory part today. We'll just focus basically on the inventory part and see how easy it is to call up most of the information I outlined earlier. So let's log in. Enter your user ID, enter your password. So this is a demo account. And once we log in, we are logging into the admin account, like the owner's account. So you might see a whole lot of functionalities, but any business owner can decide to say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and it will be taken off. Okay, so now that we are in, and as you can see, we are accessing it as an online, so it's cloud-based. So Now, this is your dashboard. From your dashboard, just at a glance, you're able to tell how much the value of your invoice today, how much you've received today, what percentage came in, or the amount that came in cash, the amount that was paid to bank, expenses, if any, money that was moved to bank, and also your cash balance. You can see your sales revenue and profits. You can choose to even streamline, this by different office location. You can choose the duration. Let's assume you want to look at how profitable your business has been the whole year. Just with this one click, you're able to tell. Okay. You can also see this on a weekly basis, but broken down daily. This one shows you the information on a weekly basis. Is aggregated weekly by default for all your locations. You can streamline to any branch of your choice. Then over here, you can actually see a whole lot of top line information as far as your business is concerned. For instance, you can get to see the total customers credit, as in customers being owed. You can see the total customers debit, customers owing. You can see total suppliers credits, that suppliers being owed. You can also see total suppliers debit, suppliers owing. You can see your total stock value. You can see your total raw material stock value. Then if you come down here, you can see for the month, you can even drill down by year, quarter, or even the week. You can get to see top 10 selling services. You can get to see top 10 top selling products. You can see total raw materials, the total number of raw materials you have you deal on, then the top 10 most used raw materials. You can even get to see your total number of customers you have, the ones you've registered for today, this week, this month, the ones you've added this quarter, this year, and the total number of customers. You can also get to see your top 10 customers. So this is showing us for the month. Like I said, this is a demo account. Let me switch to the yearly statistics. So you can see a lot more information, like top 10 selling product. These are not the quantity you sold, but just the IDs of the product. So you can see the number of products based on their invoice amount. Then here you can see 10 most used raw material. Then here you can see number of customers you've registered, top 10 customers, 10 highest rate suppliers, and you can even view more statistics. It still does not end there. Since we are focusing on inventory now, you can see stocks that you need to reorder, because this dashboard guide just shows you your reorder level, and you can see the reorder level for different branches. So we are looking at the one for Lagos. So it shows you the product, the warehouse where the items are, the current unit you have in stock, and the reorder level that you've set. So for Joy Cream, the reorder level is set at 51, and the current unit in stock is 50. And you can also see the supplier that supplied it. Now, this information is not going to be available to your staff except you grant them the privilege to see it. So your staff can see the stock reorder level but not get to see who your suppliers are, except you give them the privilege to view suppliers. Here, if you deal on items that expire, you can also get to see items that are close to expiry dates. So it shows you the name of the product, the warehouse, the current quantity you have in stock, the expiry date, the number of days remaining, like this has expired already. Then you can see the supplier as well. Then this dashboard guide just shows you raw materials that you need to reorder. Once you're running low on, for example, in this particular office location, so you get to see the stock ID, the raw material name, the warehouse where the raw material is, the current quantity remaining in stock, the order level, and the supplier that supplied it. There are a couple of other dashboard gadgets, but we are not going to look at those ones in this particular session. So if you mouse over to the left hand side, you can see that we have a couple of menu options, but we are just going to focus on these two, the product inventory and the raw material inventory. So for product inventory, which is items that you sell to your customers, whether you buy and sell, or you produce what you sell, or you run a combination of both, the system can actually handle it. And with the system, you can get to print product barcodes. Besides that, you can also click here to see view items that were returned from your customers. So if I click here, view return inwards, and I tell the system to show me for this year, if anything has been registered, you'll be able to see. So you see there's an item here. You get to see the date it was registered, the date it was returned, the stock ID, the customer that returned it, the name of the product, the quantity, the unit price, the amount, the warehouse, the ref number, location, and the person who registered it. If any note was entered at the point of registering this return inward, you would also find it here. Okay, so you can see the total quantity of items, and this one shows you the sum of, or the value of items and returned over the stipulated period. You could choose to search for items they returned today, yesterday, this week, this month, last month, this quarter, last quarter, this year. You could even go ahead to specify your own time frame by clicking on this date picker. Select the date you want to start from and when you want to stop. Okay, you can search by currency. If you run multi-currency, and search for items returned in a particular office location. You can also search by customer or warehouse or even product. All right. Now, besides that, you can also view the value of stock intakes, items that you have received into your inventory. So if we do that and say, okay, show us for last quarter, all the stock intake that was done last quarter, you get to see all the different times that items were received into your organization. You see the ID, you see the date it was registered, it shows you the day, the month, the year, the hour, the minutes. Then you can also see the dates the items were supplied, the stock ID, the names of the supplier, the product, the quantity that came in, the unit price, the amount, the warehouse, the badge number, the location, and the staff that registered it as well. So just looking at this, you can see that we have product 1 here, we have product 1 here as well, then we have this supplier and this supplier. So you click here to aggregate this information using any of these parameters. So I could choose to say, okay, show me by supplier. So it has aggregated the value. Okay, this particular supplier supplied a total of 5,283 items, which is valued at this, while this particular supplier supplied 2,000 items valued at this. You can go ahead to analyze the information using a pie chart or any of these other charts. You could even choose to say, okay, I want to see by product name. So this product 1, there's 58 pieces here and 1,000 pieces here. If you look at product 1 now, you have 1,058 pieces. So system helps you to aggregate it. So if you want to see, okay, which one has the highest value, you click here, it will sort them for you in ascending order. If you click here, it will sort them for you in descending order. You can also choose to analyze this using any of this like pie charts. So you can see the distribution of items by quantity and by amount, right? If you also want to print this out and probably you don't want this information to appear, you can click here, and go ahead, click here to print, or you can export this using any of these options. So I'll close that. Then still on product inventory, you can do bulk stock adjustments, you can view stock adjustments, you can view your general stock card. You might choose to view the general stock card for this month or for last quarter and for the main warehouse. Fetch data is going to show me the names of the product, to show me the warehouse, which is main warehouse. That's what we selected. So main warehouse is located in Lagos. You can see your opening stock balance before that period, and you can see the opening stock value. Then within that period, the total value of items that came in, the total value of items that went out, the closing stock value, the closing stock balance as in terms of quantity, and the closing stock value. Okay, so you notice that, let's assume you want to further look at a particular item, let's say this one. All these icons allow you view your stock card history. So I click on this one for tasty cabin. Let me close this and choose the period, let's say last quarter, and get details wide. It's going to show us that, okay, this is the balance brought forward. Then on this particular day, an adjustment was done. Then on this particular day, 500 pieces was received by this particular supplier, or received from this particular supplier, while on this date 150 was sold to this particular customer. And as all this is happening, you can see that the system is updating the balance as well. So if there's any information that is not clear, okay, when exactly did this person supply, this supplier supplied these 500 pieces, or who is this customer that bought 150 pieces, you can click here to see the detailed information. So you can actually see the name of the customer, the invoice ID, the date, time. You can see this one, that payment was not made, payment is still pending, the name, the quantity, no discount was given, the unit price, the amount. You can even see the date and time that the invoice was written or the item was sold, the user ID that raised it, the category that the item falls under, and all of that. Okay, so that's for stock card history. So still there, you can view return outwards as items that you return to your supplier. So let's see, you want to see items you return to supplier, you can tell the system to show you for this year. Let's see if we have any information. So just one item. You can even choose to say, okay, from want to view from last year. Let's fetch data. So you see, there are now 2 items, and it shows you the value, shows you the date, time, the product, the quantity, the unit price, the amount, the supplier, the remark, warehouse, the location, and the person who registered it, including the total value. All right, so that's for that. Then the next one is, you can also do bulk stock price edits. Instead of editing your prices, let's assume your prices change, like now that the dollar to naira is somehow, and you want to edit your prices, you can easily do that with ease. You could choose to increase selling price by percentage, or decrease selling price by percentage, or increase selling price by fixed amount, or decrease selling price by fixed amount. Okay, so you can even do that for only items in a particular category or class, or you could even come here and select specific items and enter the new prices and go ahead and submit. Okay, so I'll close this. Then still under product stock, we've looked at how to do this. You can view your sales control report, you can view items that you have in bin. Let's assume you want to see all the items that were moved to bin this year. No item was moved to bin this year, so we can look at last year. So no item was moved to bin last year as well. So you can always move items to bin, and you come here and you view the items and see the value of items that was moved to bin and who moved the items to bin. Then here, this is the main one where a lot of people would like to see. So in terms of viewing your stock, you can, if you run multi-currency, you can view using all transacted currency, or you can view for a particular currency, or you can view stock in a particular location, or in a particular warehouse, or in a particular category, or you could even choose to view stock that are available or stocks that are not available or the ones that are below reorder level. So I'm just going to tell the system any. Then you can set for stock that are about to expire a particular time, assuming expiry date. Use of expiry date is enabled in your own organization. You can set for specific product. You can search for items that are still enabled as active items or the ones that you no longer deal on. You can search for products using barcode. You can search for product that was supplied only by a particular, as in the stock that was supplied by a particular supplier. Okay, so I'm just going to select main warehouse and fetch data. Now here you'd see that every item has a unique stock ID. So you see for this particular product, that's Rice Niger, stock ID 1. Remember, this is a demo account. You see the barcode, you see the status is still enabled, you see the quantity available in stock. This is the selling price for one piece of this particular product. And if you notice, there's something called price variation. It's possible that you have two types of two different prices for a particular product. Just recently, a customer contacted us and said, I want to try and encourage people to be paying monies into the bank rather than bring monies to the shop. So if they come to the shop to buy eggs from me, I sell a crate of eggs to them at 920. But if they pay the monies into the bank, they buy that same product at 900 naira. So here you can use price variation to set that, so that your staff would not have the option of altering the prices. Rather, they will see a drop down where they can select which option, whether it's the 900 naira or the 920, but in this case is 9250, 18525 or 19500. And here you can also, in this software, you can also set whole selling price. So what do I mean? In some organizations, you can say, if a customer comes to buy from me, if he's buying one, sell it to him at this price. If he's buying 10 pieces, sell it to him at this rate. If he's buying 25 pieces or more, sell it to him at this rate. If he's buying 100 pieces and above, sell it to him at this rate. If he's buying 1,000 pieces and above, sell it to him at this rate. Then you can see your cost price, your stock value, which is the cost price times the quantity of items you have in stock. You can see your sales value using the selling price. You can see the warehouse where the item is, the location. You can even see the last date, the last time that item was sold. You can see this one was sold last on the 1st of July 2020. You can see the last time you received that particular item into stock. Now this particular column can go a long way to let you know items that you've not sold right from when you started, since when you received them into your inventory. Okay, so in this case we do not have any of such items because the ones that are affected. Let me fetch data for every item in all the warehouses. So let's scroll. You can see that these ones have not been sold because these fields are not updated. So you know that these items have not been sold right from when they were received in this Abuja office. All right. So you can see the expiry date. It doesn't end there. Let's scroll. You can see the category. You can see the class. You can even see the reorder level. So once this item is below 55 pieces, system is going to prompt the owner. It's possible for you to just display on your dashboard. It's possible for you to configure it such that, once it's below reorder level, send me an email. Or once it's below reorder level, send me an SMS to notify me. The system can do all of that. This is where you set the expiry date for this particular. Right, so you can click here to view the stock card history. You can click here to transfer stock to another warehouse. You can click here, register quantity return to the supplier. While you can click here to transfer items to bin, you can click here to do stock adjustment. This is applicable for all these items and it's not something that all your system users will have access to. It's only the business owner or whoever you grant such privilege would have that would have access to it. Okay, you can always click here to change the price to something else, or you can click here to change the cost price. That's here to change selling price, here to change cost price. Then you can click here to set the expiry date as well. Then if I scroll down, you get to see the total number of products you have in record. Then you see the total units in stock, that's quantity of items available in stock. You can see the stock value. You can see the estimated sales value. You can choose to aggregate this information, as in all this information you see here, using any of these parameters. So you could choose to aggregate by product. Let's do that. So system has added it up to show us, irrespective of the warehouses or the different locations, we want to know the total quantity of this of all the products we have. So it shows you the summation of the items by quantity, by stock value, and by sales value. You could choose to do the same thing for maybe the supplier. So it will show you aggregates by supplier. You might be interested in looking at it in terms of warehouse. So it will show you the quantity of items you have in each warehouse, the stock value, and the sales value. You can go ahead and analyze it using a line chart, column charts. Right? Use this column chart now. Gets to show you this is what you have in the main store, the material store, and the other store. So if I'm interested in seeing just this, I click. System is going to silence that one, and I'll get to see just this one. But if I click here again, it's going to bring it back. So if I don't want to see this, see, system has taken it away. If I click it, it will bring it back. Alright, you can go ahead and look at it using a pie chart to show you the distribution. This first one is by quantity, stock value, sales value. Alright, so that's when it comes to viewing of stock. Now, besides that, still under product inventory, product stock, you can view stock warehouse wide sheets. So here you get to see the products, all the products you have in all the different warehouses, just on one sheet. So it shows you the name of the item, the quantity available in this warehouse, the quantity available in this one, the quantity available in this one. And like I said, this is a demo account. People come in and key in anything. So you can see test warehouse, PH1, system shows you, and it gives you the total. Okay, you can always print this out, export this to PDF, Excel, plain text. You can also print it out as well. Okay, so I'll close this. You can do stock transfer, that's transfer stock from one warehouse to the other. You can view stock transfer. If you want to do stock transfer, then click here, enter the date the stock was transferred, select the source where you're moving the item from, specify where you're moving the item to, then select the items. So here, system tells us, shows us the quantity of the item that we have in this particular, this item, this is the quantity we have in the source warehouse. You can choose to move 547 to another warehouse. You can click here to move another item. So let's say this one, you just want to move 7. Then you can put the description here. So we are moving fresh juice, 547 pieces out of 3,547 pieces from main store to material store. Then 7 pieces of Jamaican rum, 7 cartons rather, out of 87 cartons, still to the same material store. So I'll go ahead and do transfer. System has done the transfer and it has given us the stock ID. So if we go back and view stock and we search for the fresh juice, you can see the fresh juice is now 3,000. And if we look at the stock card for today, get the details wide, it will show us that this is the quantity that was brought forward and 547 was transferred to material store, and it also shows us that 10 of it was sold today. That is why we have 3,000. Okay, so if you say 10 was sold when, if you click here, you can get to see the quantity and the date time it was sold and all of that. Okay, so I'll close this. I close this. Once you go back there, you can even choose to view material stock, as in the items that were transferred, products that were transferred rather. So I can select the destination warehouse, the material store, fetch data to show me all the items. It shows me the product, the quantity, the unit price, the source warehouse, the destination warehouse, the remark, the user that did it, the time it was registered. It shows me the quantity as well. It shows me the total amount. Okay, so we can also register warehouses, do production participants. So maybe if you're into production, you want to know who were involved in every batch of production, you can use this model to do that. Then you can use this one to set, like, if you have a recipe and you want to key it in and allow the system calculate your cost price or the quantity of each raw material that you need to use in order to produce what you want to produce. This model does that. And here, if in your organization you actually use raw materials, I mean you actually use some of your products and you convert them to raw material, then this stock usage model allows you to do that. So for instance, people who sell hair extension, they can pick a particular hair extension that they've already displayed for sale, pick it up, convert it to a wig. In that case, you can come here and register the usage. The system would convert that product to a raw material for you. Okay, then this model allows you to do your initial product stock importation for organizations that are already using an existing information system and they want to migrate, or you already have your information in Excel as product name, the quantity, cost price, selling price, reorder level, and even category and class. You can mass import it into the ERPRev software using this particular model. So we'll just quickly look at the raw material inventory. Here, you can get to see, do bulk raw material stock adjustment. You can view raw material stock adjustment. You can view your general raw material stock card. You can view raw material return out, what that's raw materials you return to your supplier. You can view raw material stock that as in that you move to bin, that's to trash. That's raw materials that got bad while in your custody. Then you can view raw materials you have in stock. If I click here and fetch data, it will show me all the raw materials available in stock, the raw material name, the quantity, the cost price, the stock value, the warehouse where the raw materials are, the location where these warehouses are, the last date it was stock, and the supplier that supplied it. Here you can see the total quantity of raw materials you have and the stock value of the raw materials you have. You can as well view the raw material stock card or stock history or stock movement. You can transfer raw material stock to another warehouse, assuming you run multiple raw material stock. You can register quantity, return to supplier. You can transfer stock to warehouse bin, and you can also do stock adjustments. Okay, then here you can do raw material stock transfer. That's this one will allow you to raw material stock transfer to of one raw material at a time, while this one allows you to multiple. Okay, this is where you get to register the raw materials that you deal on. Then this is where you get to let the system know the raw materials that came in, and you can also use this model to analyze how a particular raw material has been coming into your organization over time, while you use this one to register the usage of the raw material. So as raw materials are being used, you can use this model to register the usage. So if you want to register usage now, for example, click here, specify if it was used for production, the date time it was used, the batch to ref number, the remark. can click here to select the raw material that was used. That's one option. Or if you've set your product requirement calculator, you can come here and specify. So if I tell the system this particular item and I enter the quantity, let's say 1000, and so it knows, system automatically knows all the raw materials and the quantity that is supposed to be used to produce one. So since we want to produce 1000 pieces of it, it has automatically displayed the quantity of all the raw materials you're supposed to use based on what you have set. Okay, so you can go ahead and submit. If I go ahead and do this, if we have all this quantity of raw material in stock, the moment I click on OK, system is going to register it. And if we go and view raw material usage for today, I fetch data, sorry about that, fetch data, you'll see all the raw materials that we used, okay, today, right? So that's basically a brief demonstration of the inventory and that's product inventory and raw material inventory module in ERPRev. Like I said earlier, it covers accounting. If you look at it, there's a whole lot under finance, point of sales, analytics, and even internal communications between staff members. So if you want to know more or want to get to use this software to run your business, you can request for a demo, as in an online demonstration, or you can visit our online training platform, or you can also sign up on our website, for the software. Okay, so I want to thank you once again for your time, and also reiterate the fact that inventory management in every organization, it's very important and you should take it very seriously if you really want to expand at a remarkable rate. Else your salespeople or your team can also help you, move at a snail speed. Thank you.